Hey everyone, this is Rene from Tippy.com. Welcome to our weekly show focused on everything iPhone, from news and how-tos to accessory and app reviews. This is iPhone Live. It's Wednesday, November 30th, and joining me tonight is the co-host of Iterate and the CIO of Nickelfish, Mr. Seth Clifford. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Very well, thank you. You're wearing a shirt of some sort.
I am clothed. Mm-hmm.
And what is the signification of this shirt today?
Oh, this shirt is a friend of mine has a guitar company, so this is his guitar company. He bought the rights to a vintage guitar line and reissued them, and is making some really cool stuff.
Are you going to debounce so we can see it?
It'll be too fast in the window. I can just kind of go up and down a little bit slower.
Debouncing! We have debouncing! Nice.
Slow debounce.
Also joining us tonight is the host of iPad Live and of Zen and Tech and Girls Gone Gadgets, the awesome Georgia. How are you, Georgia?
I'm good. I'm not sporting as much of a stash as Seth is, so there we go.
Thank God for that. Stop it, you're freaking me out. That's some bling on your wrist too, and you are all suited up tonight. That is awesome.
Yeah, I came straight from work, so...
No, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that you dressed up just for us.
I dressed up just for you guys.
See? She loves the community. That's for you people. It's just a touch of class. Next week, she's in a tuxedo.
Want to be lied to? That's all good.
I am the last episode of Angel. I am Wesley. I am saying lie to me.
Wesley, huh? Okay.
Yes, he was killed by the last episode.
You're not really doing that right now, are you?
He wanted her to be Fred for just the last few minutes.
Don't bust up people that haven't watched.
No, if you haven't watched Angel yet, you are beyond hope. You deserve spoilers. You deserve floggings and keel hauling.
No.
You deserve to know what this is like.
No.
All right.
Not okay.
We did a Mobile Nations podcast. It was also a gift guide. We went over some of our favorite mobile gifts. We also talked about whether phones are becoming fashion because Kevin really wants to buy a $2,000 Porsche-designed BlackBerry obelisk. And about tablets, especially the low-priced tablets on the market today, like the Kindle Fire and the Nook tablet. So please check that out. Georgia, we also did Zen and Tech 25, stress-free shopping.
Yes, because this time of year is stressful as it is. We don't need to add shopping to the mix. It just makes it worse. So using these tips can make your life a little bit less stressful.
And they were fairly awesome tips. I mean, I implemented some of them already, and I just breathed out, and I was like, haha, the rest of you suckers, I'm stress-free.
Yeah.
Nothing like being stress-free out of spite to really make it flavorful.
Yeah, whatever works. Use whatever you need to.
So, since we last got together, since we last had this ensemble, our little cabal, iOS 5.1 was released along with Xcode 4.3. Seth, you have the developer cred. Is this a major release? Is this worthy of an iOS X.1 label?
I haven't actually had a chance to look at it too much yet, so I'm not sure. What I've been hearing from people is that there are still some issues that have not been rectified as of yet. But other people were saying, yes, this looks like a much improved, point release. I was surprised to see them go from a .01 to a .1 this quickly, though.
Well, I guess, Georgia, it depends how fast they actually release, because this is only released to developers. They could spend a month or two doing betas and release a 5.0.2 in the meantime, maybe.
They could, but we'll have to see what happens with them.
The only bit of news, and this was interesting, is that the usual code ninjas, typically rounded up by Mark Gurman at 9 to 5 Mac, put their heads together and found references to the next generation iPhone 5.1, to the next generation Apple TV 3.1, the next generation iPad. We'll talk about that on Sunday. Seth, is this just Apple, low, Tim Cook stood and he broke the sixth seal and there were code strings in the firmware, like one of the logical steps towards the new devices next year?
Well, yeah, right? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to even freak out over this stuff anymore because it's it's almost a foregone conclusion that there will be new devices. So to see that the new devices have ID strings should not be that much of a surprise, since every other device has a string like this. It's exciting because it's like, hey, guess what? They're thinking about it, so we're edging ever closer. But it's not really. It's fun to find, but it should not be like a mind blowing revelation.
George, is it kind of like when you see that Tim Hortons on the way to Ottawa, or Seth sees that visitor parking area on the Jersey Turnpike? You know it's there, but it's still nice to see it because it means you're on the way home.
I guess it could be comforting to some people, but in the end, the only people that will really notice it are people that are going to be looking into the code anyways, and they already know that it's happening. But I still find it makes me feel a little bit warm to know that definitely there are plans for another iPad, another iPhone, and we will get a better Apple TV, which I wasn't exactly, like, Seth, though, you were sure about the iPad and the iPhone. Were you sure about the Apple TV?
Well, no, certainly not. I mean, that is
a little
surprise.
bit of a bonus. Yeah, that's like
definitely.
That's going to be nice. I wonder what that's going to be. You see, that I don't care about the case. I'll get the Apple TV for the stuff inside.
Before we talk about what it is, I just want to point out that if you go to we have a brand new Apple TV 3 forum, so we can start rumor mongering already. And if you go there, we have a pool open. You can leave your expected release date, because Apple hasn't even announced this product yet. We don't know when it's going to be released. It could be any time. It's probably too late this year. Maybe it'll still sneak out. I doubt it, but it could be early next year. If you put your guess, anyone who guesses correctly is going to be in the draw to win. Maybe we'll give away one Apple TV 3, maybe two. But seriously, go to the Apple TV 3 forum and put it on the line. Put your money where your mouth is.
So, Rene, they just have to put down a date.
Yes.
And if they happen to be right,
yes,
one of those people, or maybe three of those people that have the right date, are going to win.
A small number of people who guess correctly, yes, will be gifted. They won't have to buy it for themselves. We will get it for them. How sweet is that?
That's great. And Rene, you'll upgrade to an Apple TV 3.
Oh, hell. I mean, I'm expecting an Apple A6 process, an A5 processor. I don't think about the A6, the Apple A5 processor, 1080p video. Who knows what? Maybe they'll put Siri in it so that there could be another device that George doesn't have that has Siri. I mean, the potential is limitless.
Thanks. You just had to throw that one in, right?
I'll give you a little paper cut.
We should have a weekly status update. Are you any closer to getting your new phone?
I was, and I'll tell you why. Why I was closer. Because I did a huge screw up and I messed up my dates in two very, like, in a really bad way. Because I did it pen and paper way, and there wasn't enough people that knew about this that could call me why in the world would you put this date down? There's no way that you could do that. So if I had that on a calendar that other people could access, this would have never happened. And right away, the first thing that my husband says is, really, this is why you should do reminders and put it in the calendar.
Because you're so lazy, only Siri would enable you to make a proper reminder.
Yes, that's exactly it. I would do it if it was with Siri. So that brought me a lot closer. And I love pen and paper, but now I'm way too filled with people, and I have too many clients. It's just not going to work out. So I'm like, I would do it if I just had to speak to it and have it do it for me.
I've tried asking a pen to take a reminder for me. It just sits there. It just lies there being all inky. It doesn't do anything. It's very uncooperative.
Yeah, and I have my phone with me everywhere. I don't always have my agenda.
Yeah. No, that's true. Seth, you think this time next week she'll have that iPhone 4S?
I don't know. If she has another episode like this, I think it's definitely a possibility.
That's a huge maybe.
Yeah, Georgia may potentially, definitely, likely might have an iPhone 4S next week. Stay tuned. If you want, encourage her on Twitter. Just go to @GeorgiaTippy and tell her to get an iPhone 4S. Thanks. If you have a van and a really bad fake mustache and a nickelfish hat, you can drive by and tell her to get an iPhone 4S.
This is a real mustache, friendo.
All right, so this is something else that was kind of mildly annoying me. I've been referring to the new iPhone as iPhone 5, just because it's easy to do. And we have a lot of other stories about iPhone 5. You're like, it's not going to be called an iPhone 5. Apple released an iPhone 4S. The next one's going to be 6. Because logically, in numerology, 6 comes after 4, right?
But okay, so people say that a lot when we talk about it for the iPhone 5. We call it that because people understand. It's easy to understand what we are speaking of. If we said an iPhone 6, some people would be thinking that it would be...
I missed the iPhone 5! What happened to that? Where'd it go?
But there was a 3 and a 3S.
GS, yeah.
A 3GS. And then there was a...
4.
5? No, there was a 4. So it makes complete sense that it would be a 5 just because that's what Apple did before.
And there could be a 5 and a 5S before they get to a 6. I mean, marketing has nothing to do... Like, they're like, but it's the 5th generation... It's the 6th generation iPhone. Therefore, it has to be the iPhone. No, it really doesn't. Apple could call it the iPhone X. They can call it anything they want.
They could call it exactly that. But everyone knows when we say the iPhone 5 that it means the next generation, the one that's going to be next on the list. We started calling it the 6, and as George Lim puts down, he's like, the 2G was 1, 3G was 2, the 3GS was 3, the 4 happens to fall on the 4, and the 4S happens to fall on 5, but they'll choose whichever number they so wish. And odds are, I assume, if I had to be a betting female, it would be an iPhone 5.
Seth, where do you weigh in on this?
I weigh in under whatever they end up going with. It will not be as ridiculous as the Galaxy on Sprint. Galaxy S2.
Galaxy S2, comma, Epic, comma.
4G touch, right?
Actually,
Kevin... The most amazing part about that was that Seth, 1, did not answer the question, and 2, also took a hit at the Galaxy. I loved it. That was a perfect answer.
I didn't really have an answer to that, honestly. It's like,
that
who cares what they call it?
I didn't inhale that phone.
Just give it to me. I don't care what you call it.
Kevin has a phone he wants called it with one of Kevin's new Blackberries has an apostrophe in the name. P, comma, 99 something or other.
Is that like one of those like a talk?
I think it is.
In another language?
That's a sub-vocalization that you have to pronounce.
The Galaxy 3S.
Yes, I just wanted to get that on the record that if you're complaining that Apple's gonna call it something, you have no control over Apple's calling things. We're just doing the iPhone 5 because it's easy to understand. My mom would understand why 5 comes after 4.
Yeah,
and it's also the Apple internal model number is 5,1. So put that in your internet hate pipe and smoke it.
Internet hate pipe. There's your show title.
Nice. Actually, we got to call this episode Gift Guide. Speaking of which. We are doing gift guides this week on Mobile Nations. We actually have a fancy new iTunes page. If you go to iTunes and you look for Mobile Nations, we have a beautiful artists page now. And we have a sub page just for gift guides. And you can't look for it now, Georgia. You have to wait. And we're doing a bunch of gift guides on all the different shows. We did the iPad gift guide last Sunday. We did the Mobile Nations one on Monday. We're going to have Android Central. We did the Palm one last night. We're going to have a Crackberry one tomorrow. But this, tonight, right here, now, is the iPhone one. And I'm thrilled to get Georgia's picks. What are you going to do first, Georgia? Accessory?
Let's do accessories.
Oh, before accessories, sorry. Let me just get your opinion on this, because someone actually asked us this. If they were looking for an iPhone as a gift, iPhone 3GS free on AT&T and other GSM carriers, or close to free. iPhone 4, $100. iPhone 4S, $200, $300, or $400. What should they get? Some people think even though it's not as good a phone, free is free. Other people think that, if you're going to go big or go home. Georgia, if you were recommending an iPhone to somebody this year for a holiday gift, which one would you recommend?
They are going to... How much do you love the person that you're taking care of? If this is someone that's actually special to you, then giving them a free phone might cost them a little bit... They might be a little bit upset after that. So if it's someone really close to you, get them the 4S. Because Siri is awesome. If it is someone that you think that they should have a phone... It's maybe a cousin, someone that's younger, get them a phone that's free.
Were you speaking to your husband right then? Like telling him to get you the 4S? Was that what that was for?
And if, it's somewhere in between that, then I would say get the 4 because it's a fabulous phone. You're going to be able to use it. And it's also, what are they going to be using it for? So if this is someone that's just going to use their phone for a phone, then the 3G is fine. If you're going to be getting it for someone that's going to need to actually put in reminders into their phone and other things, get something with Siri.
Seth,
But it's a lot of money.
do you concur or do you retort?
No, I think if you're getting somebody a gift, you have to get them the gift. You have to get them the 4S. I think if you're just buying somebody something like, hey, I like you, I'd like to get you something, I think then you can do a 4 or a 3GS. But I mean, especially because it's that time of year where like the big payoff, people are waiting to see what they get. So I think 4S all the way.
I'm going to concur with both of you. I think that there's, first, the 3GS is probably not going to get a lot of updates going forward when Apple releases iOS 6. Maybe the 3GS won't even get that. It's very limited. I think it's 8 gigabytes. So is the 4. I mean, there's not a lot of storage in these devices.
But do you really need a lot of storage if you're going to go to iCloud?
Yeah, I still think you need some storage because you're gonna be frustrated with the media. And again, Georgia and Seth is right. It's a gift. You're giving them something. An iPhone is not a trivial gift you're gonna give to Uncle Drunk or the 3-year-old kid.
I know someone that just got an iPod and they were thrilled with it.
But an iPod.
So, if you're to the same type of person that's never had something or has never used a phone before, say that you're getting it for your grandmother or for someone that's older and has never used a phone before, the 3GS is fine. Having Siri and the other things are a complete...
But it's not a gift. It's free. You were right. See, now I'm agreeing with you and you're arguing with me.
Pay for their year plan.
But then it's $2,000.
Okay, well, that's a too expensive plan for someone that's never going to
No, we're talking to your husband now, Georgia. If he should get you the 4S with the plan. I'm trying to help you out here.
Yeah, if I want it, I can just get it, though.
That's not a gift. All right, I'm moving us along. Georgia, what's your accessory pick?
Okay, so one of them, I don't know if you can get the video for this. So this is it is a remote-controlled monster truck.
That is so
and
cool.
You can control with your iPod, your iPad, or your iPhone. And it just looks absolutely so very awesome.
Oh, it's nice. Great. There we go.
Steer your car or truck. To get driving today, simply download the free AppSpeed application from iTunes, charge the AppSpeed, attach the RF transmitter, and go.
That is sweet.
Yes, I will send the link. I'm sorry, this is to the Canadian store. Don't ask me why, but here we go. You can get one in the American store as well. But that would be a gift that would be great for everyone because I hate having to charge the control and get batteries and deal with that, and then I lose and or break the controller for it. So, yeah, me like much. Then for those that are not as, how can we put it, toy, that want to have they have their own large size monster truck. There is also the Motorola T505 Bluetooth, which is great. We use it all the time and we love it. It can, you can listen to music and calls over your car speaker. It's voice activated. You can also, you can deal with your volume. You can plug everything in. It's really easy. Now, what I would love to know is if it would work with Siri. I would assume yes, but have not as of tried. So
yeah, most of the Bluetooth stuff works with Siri. I mean, you never know if there could be some weirdness with that one, but I believe most of them work with Siri.
So that is something really cool. And then something fun for someone that is, maybe younger, something cute. And that is the Casemate Monster Case. It's really absolutely adorable. I'll send you a little picture. Wait, here we go. It's a case that goes on the back of your phone, and it looks like a little tiny monster. One of its teeth are open and has a little tiny eyeball, and it's cute. So, and not too expensive. And it will goes slightly over the edges of your phone. Slightly bulkier than most cases that I would go with, but we got the monster case. We have what to put in your monster truck. And then we have the actual monster truck itself.
Christy Lynn says she has the pink one, and Red Shirt says that your monster case can go with your monster truck.
Exactly that. This one only comes in red and white.
Seth Clifford, sir.
Well, I only have one pick because I didn't realize Georgia was going to have 3 because the instructions were to have 1. So, Georgia, if you're trying to make me look silly, well, mission accomplished. Thank you. But my pick is one of my very favorites, and it's from Dodo, the same people that make the Dodo case that Rene showed off on iPad Live. They make a product called the Book Back, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat. The Book Back is essentially a small piece of leather with some nice adhesive on it that is not disgusting and comes off on your phone. It's very clean to put on and take off. And essentially what it is if you like the feel of your iPhone without a case, or you like the look of it without a case, but like me, you're not real sure that you like the smooth glass back in your hand, this provides just a little bit of texture, and it looks really, really classy and really, really sharp on the phone. People don't even notice it until they're up close to it, and then when they do see it, they're like, wow, what is that? It just feels real good in your hand because it just adds a little bit of texture and almost no weight at all. I can actually get the phone into the standard Apple dock with this on it. It was a little tight at first, but you kind of just work it for a couple of days, and now it's fine. And it's great. It's one of my favorite things. It's extremely affordable, too. I think it's about $9.
Are you going to hold it up so we can see it, too, or you keep it to yourself?
Sorry. Sorry about that.
It was like Seth keeps looking at it, and he won't share.
I'm so happy with it. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's very, very thin. There's almost nothing to it at all. And it just has a cutout for the camera, and that's it. It adds almost nothing to the phone, but it feels great. So if you like, if you like your phone without a case, I definitely recommend this. You can get it either all black, or you can get, I think the logo will come with a red accent too. So they have 2 versions of it.
Nice.
Now, Seth, is it real leather, or does it just feel like leather? Because it looks like leather.
I think it's real leather. I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I did read that.
It's real leather, Seth Clifford.
Wow.
Okay.
For $9,
Yeah.
that's a
No, I'm quoting you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, thanks. That's great.
For $9, it's a pretty good price for leather. Yeah.
Georgia used to have one, but she removed it so that she could use other cases.
Yes, well, because I'm testing out so many cases all the time, I actually even had to get rid of my which one was it? The one that was carbon fiber.
Yeah.
The backing of that, which I loved as well, but I just couldn't put other cases
She's got
on.
work to do.
So had to deal with that.
So
Sometimes you have to let it go.
my like you, Seth, I only prepared one accessory pick. So
okay.
I'm likewise chagrined. But I have the Mophie Juice Pack Plus here. This, is a monster battery pack / case for your iPhone. You simply take your iPhone, you slide it in. There is a top part, but I almost never use it because I really don't care to, but you just put it in and it will power your iPhone. It'll make it last about twice as long. So if you have battery issues, you'll have half the battery issues. If you have no battery issues, you'll have twice the battery life. It is heavy, it is thick, but if you're at an all-day conference, if you're going to be away from any way of charging your phone for a long period of time, and you can't afford to have a dead phone, the Mophie Juice Pack, it has literally saved my ass at trade shows numerous times. I've taken 2 of them with me, sometimes when I'm on multiple day trade shows because I live off my iPhone. It can really be a lifesaver. Likewise, if you're a gamer and just want to game forever or watch a lot of movies, this is a great, great accessory.
Wow. I just got a link for a Rover app-controlled spy tank.
Nice.
And that looks just absolutely phenomenal. It looks huge. It's like monstrous. Like there's no way that this would spy anywhere because you would definitely see it coming. But I will send the link down and we will put it into the show notes afterwards because that looks really cool.
Georgia, might you have an app pick for us? Or 7?
You know what? I don't actually have an app pick. I'm sorry.
You're not playing anything on your...
I'm actually playing a game, but it's on my iPad because I usually use my phone for a phone. So yeah.
All right, so three accessory picks, no app picks. This is auspicious. Seth, how about you? Did you fail me as well?
No, Rene, I followed your instructions
Nice.
like you wanted. Yeah. I have an app pick. It's a fantastic app. We've talked about it dozens of times. It's 1Password Pro.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the greatest apps you can probably put on your iOS device. It's one of the greatest apps you can probably introduce into your life if you're a computer user at all and have any kind of sense for online security and your privacy. In a nutshell, what it does is the app itself allows you to store passwords. It's a password manager, and it creates some really, really great, hard to crack passwords for you. So you really only have to remember your one master, and then it'll fill in all these other things for you. The reason I picked the iOS app is because it's great to use on the phone. It has a dedicated browser built in, so you can just go right into the app and like log into bank sites and things like that and know that you are going right through a nice little secure connection. The other thing is you can store all kinds of stuff in 1Password. I have all our software licenses for the office. I have secure notes in there. I have stuff like credit card information, driver's license, passport, like all those things. So if I ever lose those things, I not only have the information in there, but I have little pictures that are saved as attachments into those files. And of course, the best part of all, it all syncs through Dropbox effortlessly. So these guys have done a fantastic job for years and years. They're one of our favorite apps and companies. 1Password in the App Store. Go get it.
By Agile Bits, and they are awesome. We actually had their designer, Dan Patterson, on Iterate, and they are smart people.
They are.
My app pick is something I use a lot. It is something else we've talked about before, but something I truly love. It is called Air Video. The genius of Air Video is that it takes basically anything that is on your... So let's say you have a computer, you store tons of files there. Over the years, they've been in a ton of formats. Maybe some are AVIs, some are MKVs, some are MP4s, some are .mov, whatever. What do we say, Seth? Do we have an agreement on how we pronounce this? .mov? I don't know. .mov?
Yeah.
It will take any of those things, and you run a little application on your computer, and then you access it from your iPhone. And your iPhone, the app will transcode on the fly. You don't have to go and transcode it, load it into iTunes, sync it over, or use home sharing. Finds it in any directory you have. I have just a ton of videos in my Drobo, maybe a terabyte of them. I can find any one I want, and it will just play it on my iPhone. But wait, there is more. You can also hit the AirPlay button, and it will take that video and, wait for it, beam it to your Apple TV. So suddenly, you can play any video format that you want on your Apple TV. You are not restricted to iTunes content or iTunes compatible formats. You can play that weird MKV you got from Japan. You can play that AVI file of your kid's birthday from 6 years ago. Any video you have, boom, it's on any of your iOS devices. It's on your Apple TV. It is absolutely brilliant. Air Video.
It's a good one. It's one of my faves too.
George, I'll pay you good money to stay centered.
Sorry.
There you go. Do you have a wild card pick?
Wait a second. If I don't stay centered,
I'll pay you bad money.
You get nothing.
I get nothing, eh? Oh well. Well, my wild card pick was the Table Connect, which turns your iPhone into a fake, big, huge butt table. Not actually usable with touchscreen because that would be wildly expensive, but still exceptionally cool to have your iPhone being transitioned onto a huge table. What it could be similar to the Microsoft Surface, which is a big TV, but the fact of wanting to have a huge touch screen table, this just, makes me dream. Santa, please.
Get George a big-ass table for Christmas.
I didn't do it, really.
Oh no, my table blue screened. I had some visitors over and Microsoft crashed my table. Damn it.
I'd like it to be an Apple. I'd like it to be an Apple product. I actually went, when I was looking this up, I went to the Surface website for the table and how, unreliable it was. And I thought, that is one of the things that I appreciate most, is that when Apple makes something, I expect it to work and I trust that it will work. So
Yes.
Apple, please.
And then there was Mobile Me. All right. Seth, your wild card pick.
My wild card pick is something that you can't actually get yet, but when it comes out, I will be first in line to get this thing because holy freaking fracking everything you can think of. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It is called Iris 9000, and it is a product on ThinkGeek. And what it basically is it's an iPhone dock that plugs into a module that looks just like HAL from 2001, A Space Odyssey, and it actually will allow you to control your Siri from across the room. So I highly recommend that everyone go to ThinkGeek, click the link in the chat, or I guess it'll be in the show notes. Go and look at this thing, because if you've ever seen this movie or you're a fan of this movie and you're a fan of Siri, these things are going to go together like peanut butter and jelly. I'm pretty convinced. And even if the product turns out to not be that good, don't tell me you don't need a small model of HAL in your house. That's crazy talk. So check it out.
Diddy asks if it has Hal's voice.
I don't know. That. I'll have to look.
In the video. It doesn't have Hal's voice, which I was actually really disappointed with. I was hoping that they would have some sort of voice modulator so it would sound more like Hal. So It doesn't have Hal's voice. And the other thing in the video, now they might change this, is that it's not, unfortunately, I was hoping it would be voice activated as well. But you actually have to have a little clicker to click the button.
Yes, there is a little clicker for it.
Besides that, it has the eyeball. And I think it blinks too, which is super sweet on its own.
I'm not blinking. Look at me. I'm not blinking. I'm Michael Caine. I'm not blinking.
It looks so cool. It's going to be out, it says, in April. And if you ask Siri about HAL now, she has some weird questions. She has some weird answers. I don't think they had a great relationship, the two of them. So
yes, it was a troubled romance.
Yeah,
dating.
But I heard she got on great with Knight Rider. So, I mean.
Oh, well, that kit's a charmer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My pick, and I'm echoing something that Georgia actually tried to steal from me on iPad Live, but I'm taking it back for iPhone Live, is the Apple TV. Because it is just, if you have an iPhone and you have a TV, you owe it to yourself to get an Apple TV. They're cheap. They were like $90 over the weekend. They're back up to around $100 now, but you can sometimes find them cheaper on Amazon. What it does, very simple. You plug it into your television set, and you can use AirPlay mirroring on your iPhone. Anything you have on your iPhone. The other day, I was reading Twitter off my television set using AirPlay mirroring and responding to tweets with Siri. It was like I lived in the future. I was beaming movies with that Air Video app that I was using. I was watching Netflix. I told Seth I went through a Kevin Smith marathon, so now I understand him just that much better. It is great. It is tiny. Yes, there might be a new one at some point in the future. Apple might make a television set at some point. But for $100, an easy way to take your stuff and throw it on there, it's pretty great. Stocking stuffers, perfect. Apple TV. That's it. Those are our picks.
Those are pretty good.
We've also got Leanna worked up for us. Seth, are you falling asleep on me?
No, I'm not. I was just looking down. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right.
Let's go.
I'm afraid I'm just going to see you and Georgia fall down first. You're like leaning closer and closer into each other. You're going to make one eye eventually.
Oh, wait.
Leanna put up a holiday gift guide for iPhone and iPad students, and she did a bang-up job. If you're shopping for a student, check it out. It's got OtterBoxes, it's got bamboo styluses, jam boxes, printers. It's got productivity software. It's got educational software. It's got bells. It's got whistles. It's got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Christmas shopping guide. Absolutely take a look at that. Whew, that's a lot of gifts. People are going to be happy this year.
Yeah, they are. There's some really cool stuff that's out there.
Do you know what I'm giving Seth for Christmas?
A big thank you.
More iPhone 5 rumors.
Oh boy, can I?
Seth, did Seth
can I-
ask for that, or is this to torture him?
I know it's just what he wanted. We have got a rumor from NT Docomo, which is one of the Japanese carriers, that they had a meeting with none other than Tim Cook, CEO of a company called Apple, may have heard of it, and that they may just be getting an LTE-equipped iPhone 5. Yes, I'm calling it an iPhone 5. Next fall, LTE. I tested out a Rogers LTE stick, and granted, I was probably the only one on the tower, but I was getting 50 megabits per second down. The water was boiling next to me as I was downloading data. It was phenomenal. Georgia, can you imagine an iPhone that is fast enough to download the internet au complet, like right in front of you?
That sounds exceptionally, like, even though I would never, ever decide to use that, but to be able to download in moments like a full movie would be amazing.
If you were tethering, you might. Like, you're stuck, you want to tether to your laptop and download the collected works of George Lucas, except for the last three. I mean...
Except for the last three.
Sock Rawl in the chat was pointing out that it's not real 4G. Again, it's just a marketing term, 4G. Originally, 4G is supposed to be LTE, like voice over LTE, but it's going to take a long time to get there. So they're calling, I think they're calling pigeon carriers and smoke signals 4G now. But Seth, do you need 4G on your iPhone?
No, I don't. I mean, I get along okay with it the way it is. Sure, it'll be great. And when it's faster, all the times that it stinks and goes very slowly, that would be great to not have that happen. So I am living just fine with the 3G that we have. But
is that what you said about 2G before you tasted 3G, though?
No, it's not, because that always sucked. I knew that without even comparison. That was terrible.
Your failure is now complete.
But in the end, can it ever be too fast? Like, if my phone melts in my hand, then maybe I can say
then it's too fast.
But besides that, faster is better.
Phil Nickinson has a few LTE devices now, and they don't melt in his hand, but they drain faster. Their battery drains faster than an iPhone 4S with battery problems. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's some things. I think that's why Apple is waiting, and I think smartly so. They don't need to fight the spec war. They'll try and get a good. The interesting issue here, though, is we are really, and I forget who pointed this out recently, but there was an article on it, that we're reaching the end of modern battery technology. We're squeezing the most we can out of lithium ion and lithium polymer. And while we keep making faster chips and better radios, we're just not keeping up with better, like there's no ultra capacitors. There's nothing really on the horizon to fix this yet.
Yeah.
But again, Apple's always been on the forefront of batteries. So, and they don't talk about it until they come out with it. So I'm sure that right now there are a whole bunch of engineers and other people that are working on making a faster, smaller, thinner, lighter battery.
We took a quantum singularity and we put it in a stable magnetic bubble, and it lasts for a month. It's blow away.
Yeah, when my iPhone opens up wormholes in space when I'm trying to download email, then I know I've got a problem.
They'll fix it in 6.0.1.
Yeah.
There'll be no more wormhole openings. Mostly. There'll be a couple more to fix in 6.0.2. The other rumor is that Hitachi and Sony, Georgia, get your glee on, are beginning to ship 4-inch displays to Apple for the iPhone 5. It might get a bigger screen.
Now, when they say that they're shipping 4-inch displays to Apple, what exactly are they talking about? They're talking about, like, how do we know that it's actually a 4-inch usable display? Like, someone's actually seen it. Like, these rumors seem so far-fetched, and I want to believe. I want a 4-inch display screen size, but how could we be really sure?
According to Asian source, Hitachi Display Limited and Sony Mobile Display Corporation started to ship 4-inch LCD for new iOS device and LCD for iPad 3. These two companies will be merged their business with Toshiba Mobile Display Company Limited as Japan Display in 2012. Spring! And I'm guessing it'll still be a Retina display. It'll still be 940 by 6.
It'll just hold it a little further away.
960 by 640. Yeah, and it's because it's bigger. It'll be held slightly further away, and it'll still be the same perceptible resolution. I'm not a
it's kind
pixels.
of cheating, isn't it? Is that cheating, Seth? Calling it still a Retina display?
They made up the term.
Fair enough. Seth, do you find that that's cheating? Them saying that it's still a Retina display, though it's not as good as what the phone was before?
I really don't feel like splitting hairs over it. I think
Oh,
retina
come on, just
is
say
a...
it, Seth. It's cheating.
Hush up now, Georgia. Let me speak. It's a marketing term, right? So it's retina to a point, and when you move your arm back and forth, it's a different kind of retina, and
It's retina-ish.
So
Yeah, but,
8-bit
like-
could be retina
If they called it
we're
that.
far enough away.
yeah. I mean, if the display is big enough and the display is far enough away, then yeah, technically that could be retina.
So using that technicality, anything is retina.
Well, look at your I mean, you can put a 65-inch TV on the wall and a 50-inch TV on the wall, and you're sitting 10 feet away, so they're both 1080p, and it really doesn't make too much of a difference. They kind of look like TVs.
Yeah.
See that?
Everybody,
I'm
everybody in
calling
the chat room
shenanigans.
I did adductio was it absurdum right there? Reductio absurdum. I reduced
everybody
your
in the
argument
chat
to
room is trying to incite a fight between me and Georgia because I told her to hush up so I could finish.
That's just because you weren't in striking distance that you got away with that.
I can still poke.
But Georgia, doesn't this mean that if it's a 4-inch display, they're going to have to change the chassis, and you might get that redesigned iPhone you have been longing for?
Well, usually if we're going to talk about their patterns, usually they will be changing the way that the phone looks for the, like, skipping one gen to the next gen. They do change it. So, if patterns repeat themselves and we are creatures of habit, either way we'll be dealing with it. Do I think the display will be curved? No, I probably don't think so.
The best indicator for future behavior is what?
Past.
Yes, unless it's been scripted, and then it's the writer knows what's happening. There was some awesome Siri stuff that came out. I'm going to see if I can cue the video before Georgia starts yelling at me. See what I'm reduced to, Seth?
Just tell her to hush up like I did.
Oh. Would that wishing made it so.
Actually, you're in the same time
I'm in the
zone,
same area
so
code. I don't dare.
You don't want to do that.
So what they've done, and I'm just going to put this up here so we can see it while I talk about it, because it's video than the one Georgia sent me at the last minute earlier. Go. They have hacked Siri to do things like this one. It is actually starting a car. Hang on a second. There we go. Are you ready to see it?
Yes, please. Make it so.
Number 1, engage.
Vehicle start.
1 moment while I connect to your vehicle. Viper connection established. Vehicle ignition has been triggered.
Vehicle stop.
1 moment while I connect to your vehicle.
Well, that's fairly cool,
Viper
isn't it?
connection established. Vehicle ignition has been triggered.
They're hacking Siri to do all sorts of things. We have another video, and this one I think Seth will particularly enjoy. Let me just cue it up. This is Siri controlling your home theater. Moment. Please, hold please. Go.
Play the latest episode of Mythbusters.
Playing Wet and Wild.
There you go. And we can do something like play Seinfeld Season 6, Episode 5.
Playing the couch.
There you go. And something that I don't have. Play Seinfeld Season 5, Episode 1.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't find the episode you asked for.
Oh, too bad. And again. Play the latest episode of Homeland.
Playing Achilles heel.
Yeah, that's it.
So, isn't that cool?
Oh man, it's awesome.
That's the future we want to live in, baby.
I want these things.
I do too. I want to be able to just tell Siri to do a whole bunch of things at a certain time, and it does it for me.
You can do that with an
I
iPhone
would
4S,
buy
I
a
heard.
full set of Apple home products that could hook up with Siri, and I could just say, please, coffee, no, tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Chair, massage, TV on, husband, chores. I mean, you just wouldn't stop.
Temperature, 75.5.
So are we saying, Georgia, that Siri is the future, that we're going to become those people from Wall-E and just dictate to our Siris to our heart's content?
Yes, if we slowly will become, more and more lethargic and jello-like. But the wonderful part is that we'll still be able to control the temperature of our house without having to get up.
Yes. It's a future I want to live in, Seth. I'm not joking about that. I mean, these companies have been struggling for years with these quote-unquote natural user interfaces, and Apple seems to have really struck on one with the iPhone. I'm going to play you a little. This is actually pretty funny. So the head of Microsoft Labs was saying, what's the big deal about Siri? We've had Tell Me in Windows Phone 7 Series Essentials Live for Hotmail, something or other phone, going on for a year now. But Apple's good at marketing. They're good at doing this. I mean, maybe they outmarketed us. But I can tell Microsoft Tell Me Voice Control Live Essential Pro for students to send a text message, and it works great. It's worked great for a year. And someone decided to test this out just to see if it was what he said it was. And I'm going to play that video. It's a video palooza, Georgie. You must be happy.
I love that.
Just going to cue it up. 1 second. Here we go. I apologize for some of the language you're going to hear, but it's Tell Me. It's not us.
Disclaimer.
Hey guys, Jason from Tech AU here. Over the last 24 hours, there's been a lot of discussion online around Microsoft claiming that their Tell Me service on Windows Phone 7 is similar to Siri on the iPhone 4S. So I thought, what better way to test than actually do a voice test between the two devices, the two systems, and compare. Let's see. Create a meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Okay, here's your meeting. Note that you already have a meeting about Thai course at 8:45 a.m. Shall I schedule this anyway?
No.
To continue, you can confirm, cancel, change time to, or change title.
Cancel.
Alright, Jason, I'll leave it off your calendar.
Send a text to Simone.
Okay, I can send a text to Simone Arnold for you. What would you like it to say?
What time is it in Perth?
In Perth, it's 5 p.m.
What time is it in Perth?
Play artist Skrillex.
Now playing Skrillex.
Searching for play artist Skrillex.
Well, as you can see, it's pretty much Siri 3, Tell Me 0. Thoughts? Mockery?
Well,
Schadenfreude?
it's a really funny video. But it could be just that Tell Me does not understand his accent as well as Siri can, which is a testament to Siri. But and the work that Apple has put into being able to understand different accents. Siri's voice was fabulous, by the way.
I want to know who in the Microsoft team programmed in recognition for, because that has a lot of explaining to do.
I can't believe you said it.
Well, but I mean, that's an implementation thing, right? Why is that recognizable over, the Siri implementation?
Well, is it something that someone actually implemented, or was it just one of those?
It locked on those characters quick. Seth, you're remaining quiet.
Yeah, I was actually, the video on my Ustream on the iPad was a little behind, so I was just watching because I saw it earlier this week. I was refreshing my memory. I have a question, though, a legitimate question about this. Does I really have not spent hardly any time with Windows Phone at all. Does the Tell Me have the kind of follow-up voice actions that Siri has? Like
No.
when you do stuff, it says, "Oh, you can say this, this, or this," and like there's ways you can continue to interact with it. It looked like every time you did it, it was just dropping you into an action, and that's where it stopped.
I have only used it a very little bit, but in my experience, it is very similar to Google's implementation, where like it's literally a voice recognition tool where Siri is context aware and understands relationships. And this is the thing that Microsoft, because this all started because a Microsoft vice president opened his mouth. No one was making an issue out of this until Microsoft did, but they still don't get it. It's like decade after decade. Apple is not Siri is not a feature to Apple, really. I mean, voice recognition isn't a feature to Apple. They didn't sit down and say, we're adding voice recognition and do it the way Google or Microsoft did. They made a Pixar character to help you out. The feature for them is the assistant, not the voice recognition. That is just that is a tactic, not a strategy, where Google and Microsoft stop with the tactic. It's like Windows Mobile had had touchscreens for years. That's fine. Apple made a multi-touch one, which worked much better. So having it earlier doesn't really mean much. It's the implementation and the experience, not the spec.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not just voice recognition. It is a full assistant. Is it perfect? No. If you have a very different accent than what Siri's used to or have been programmed for, is it going to be understand all the time? No, it won't. But they went out to not just do something that was voiceover, but they made a electronic butler or secretary or assistant of whichever you
I call it a major domo.
Right, which has personality, has a little bit of sarcasm, a little bit of fun, and answers in a way that makes it seem much more human. And that's the step that makes Siri so much different than voice control.
I believe Seth calls it his plenipotentiary.
Whatever you like.
Yeah, but again, this is something Apple does. Like people mock Apple and say, they don't invent anything; they just use other people's technology. But what they do is Apple's innovation has never been the core technology; it's always been in making that technology useful to a mainstream audience, to a wide audience. They democratize technology; they don't make the technology. And I find it funny that they're making fun of how I pronounce it in the chat room. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but decade after decade, or decade, as a Kennedy would say, Apple just keeps schooling them like this. I would think that they would catch on, but no.
Well, look what it is really at its core. It's them trying to make this into a bullet point war again. It's, oh, we had voice stuff too. That's nothing. It's really not. It's not about did you have it or didn't you have it. It's other phones have had it forever. Like, you always say Nokia's had everything since 1812,
Yes.
so nobody can brag. But it's all in the implementation. It's in the personality. It's in the execution. It's in the fact that it's so enjoyable to use. It even if Siri got a lot of things wrong the way that Windows Phone did, there's a layer of interaction to Siri that has not existed in any other voice control phone. It has not existed. So to say, oh, check, we have a voice thing you can do with your voice when you use your voice and you say things and then the phone recognizes it. That's great. You can say that, but it's not even in the same universe.
You don't have to be a creative barista in order to say that Siri does it.
Well played, young lady. You're officially unhushed now.
Unshun.
Infinity Blade is going live. It has already gone live in Australia and New Zealand. Mark Edwards already has it because he lives in the future. It's going live in the rest of the world as we approach midnight, so around 11 p.m. here. I'm going to guess we're going to talk about it on Sunday after we've had a chance to play it, but it looks frack nominal. I don't know what the right use of future profanity is, but it looks I think I'm going to not have a weekend anymore after this game comes out. The interesting story this week, though, is Apple momentarily approved another tethering application. In 2008, they approved NetShare very briefly, then yanked it. Now they approved iTether from the company named Tether that's really well known for BlackBerry and other platform tethering apps, and then yanked that from the store. I know it's Apple's store. It's like, Walmart can choose not to sell Jamie Oliver books if they choose not to sell Jamie Oliver books, and you can go somewhere else to get it. It's just I find it weird when they approve it and then disapprove it. I don't know why they just don't approve it to begin with.
Well, there's not
Well-
one guy doing it all, so
What?
obviously, yeah.
Oh,
You
there's
didn't
two?
really. There's more than Somebody made a mistake. It got in, right? The company said they asked all kinds of questions, which is what App Store reviewers sometimes do, but clearly someone
How
missed
could
a
they
memo.
not know though? Like I can see that if it's if its name was Angry Birds 2 and it went through and it was a tethering application, you can say that they didn't try it out fully. But it's actually called iTether. What else would they think that it did?
They were confused.
I don't honestly know, but if we're to take the blog post that the developers put up as what happened, they went into it completely forthcoming about what the app did, and
Yes,
the
they
app
called
got
it
in.
iTether. You couldn't be any more forthcoming.
What does this app do again? It's iTether. Yeah, it's a game of some kind. It's a music app.
Yes.
So
And
the question
spelt
is,
it
how did
wrong.
it get in the first place?
And some people were really upset with Apple and saying that Apple shouldn't block these. And this is one of those situations where I get very Oliver Stone and I say follow the money. And I know at the end of the day, Apple does not care really if there's a tethering app in there. It's a $15 app. Apple will make money off of this. But I do believe the carriers who like to surcharge people and, as Georgia put it, double dip for their data do care about this. They don't want you to tether outside their official plans.
So, but do we know that Apple and say AT&T have a specific written agreement and they had to pull the application, or is this Apple playing nice with AT&T but underhandedly putting out iMessenger anyways, which is going to cost them much more money than tethering ever will?
We don't know because the contract terms are still confidential. We have seen in the past, because the FCC demanded an explanation about Google Voice, that they did have a contractual agreement not to put VoIP over 3G for a long time. They wouldn't approve Skype, for example, over 3G or any other VoIP over 3G app. So we do know that they do have agreements like this in the past. What they have now, we don't know.
Okay.
I am willing to say that they staffed up because the holidays were coming, and there's always a big push, and somebody who was new didn't get all the rules right. I mean, how else could this have happened? It's not like the App Store is a new thing, and everybody was a little unsure of what was going on.
Boss, I think I might have accidentally approved iTether. What? Say what again?
Apple usually doesn't care what the carriers want or don't want unless it is already a written agreement for them. So I would assume that this must be a written agreement, because in the end, Apple is so strong that they don't really have to placate the carriers. They are not going to not, carry the iPhone.
What's interesting, though, is that Apple...
How else will they punish Apple?
According to the developers, Apple said that it put an undue burden on the network, on the carrier's network, which is odd because they could have gone with the much more defensible duplicate functionality, because the iPhone already includes a tethering app built right into it. And they've used that one before, and that one's much more difficult to argue. They kind of made a very weak sauce argument to the developer, if it in fact is accurate.
Right.
Have they used that lately, though?
They'll let me upgrade to having more data if I'll pay more. So I can't say that I would buy that.
Yeah, and AT&T has not been shy about sending nasty grams to people using a lot of data on an unlimited plan either. Very interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on this. We did a little poll. Actually, Georgia put up a poll asking whether Apple should play gatekeeper and allow this or not. And the results, as I wait for them to load, not surprisingly, 91.5% said, yes, data is data. Stop the double dipping. And 7.3% said, no, if you use more, pay more. Get off my towers. And 1.13% said, I'm not sure, see comments.
And the carriers that we polled, 100% said no tethering.
Yeah, 100% said $20 for you. So we have a couple tips. How to tether jailbreak iOS 5.0.1 with Red Snow.
For those of you that didn't get iTether while it was hot.
No, this is a jailbreak, not a tether. Oh, if you want to jailbreak and then use PDA net. All right, I get it. Smart. No, then you'll definitely get the nastygram. So Ali wrote this up. Check it out. We also have, and this one is interesting, how to set up an iPad or iPod Touch safe email for your child. If you want to get your kid involved in the internet, but you don't want them to have unfettered access to email, Anthony wrote this up for us, and it is a very good way to create a very safe, very whitelist friendly, very locked down email. So your kid can, for example, email you or their siblings or their grandparents photos, but Joe Stranger on the internet has no idea that they're even in existence. So I think parents should definitely check that out. It'll be in the show notes. The show notes are in the actual podcast, and they're on the site if you go to tippy.com/podcasts. The forums, we had the aforementioned Apple TV release pool contest. If you want to win an Apple TV on us. Also waiting on the iPhone 5. We have a list of changes and bugs in the iOS 5.1 beta. We have a thread talking how to shoot better pictures in HDR. And some people asking about what they can use instead of Switcher Plus for iOS 5 jailbreak, because Switcher Plus hasn't been updated. Georgia, before we go, do you want to show off whatever case you're using this week?
Sure. It is the Draco design case. So that's the case that I've been using. Really enjoy it. Does it kill my signal? I think that it might just slightly. And I've also found out that it blurs the location response, so it increases the where I might be. So for when I go out for my life of, can't say that. It's really nice. Enjoy it. It's absolutely beautiful. So you can check that out.
So the pros are it looks great. It's good. Is it good protection?
It's good protection. It's very strong. You could still scratch if it lands on the surface on something that's bumpy, but it does cover over the edges. And I have to say now, this would, depends on you. I find it's absolutely beautiful. And yes, aluminum.
Now, is it strong enough that if someone were to say hush up, for example, you could hit them in the head with it and cause severe hematoma?
You could throw this baby and it would knock someone out for sure, and in style.
And it makes your phone roughly the size of a small Android device.
It does increase the size around the edges. I would say about 2.5 millimeters, to 4.
And you need an Allen key to take it on and off, right?
That's the problem. Two things is one is it needs an Allen key to take it off, and the second thing is that it does not fit all chargers. My car charger does not fit, but it fits all Apple chargers. So
okay, good to know. And yet Georgia has a full review up, so you can go and check that out.
Take a peek.
Oh, I think that brings us to the end of this fine feathered podcast. Again, sorry for the technical problems that got us started a bit late. I want to thank our fabulous, fabulous studio audience, especially for the laugh track. We really appreciate that. It keeps us on our toes. I want to thank Mr. Seth Clifford Esquire for joining us tonight. Where can we find out more about you, Seth?
You can find me on Twitter at Seth Clifford. You can find me on iPad Live and on Iterate with Rene and Mark Edwards of Bajango. And if you'd like to check out some of the apps and sites that we build, please visit our website, nfidm.com. We're Nickelfish.
Damn it.
I just left it hanging for you. I'm thinking maybe we should do something new.
All right. Frack damn it.
All right. We'll work it out.
Georgia, where can we find out more about you?
You can find me on Twitter at GeorgiaTIPB. You can also find me on the website, www.tippy.com. And, of course, on Zen and Tech, Girls Gone Gadgets, which will be, by the way, tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Woohoo!
Tomorrow night, after Android Central, about 10:30.
Be there.
We're going to do it December 1st.
Nice. You can find me at Rene Ritchie. You can find me on tippy.com or mobilenations.com. You can find all of us at Tippy. You can email us at podcast@tippy.com. Generally, we're getting a lot of people who are angry with what we say, but it'd be nice to hear all sorts of opinions. If you have something nice to say, you can send that our way too. We do occasionally get a attaboy, but there's never enough. You can also leave a comment on the post when it goes live on the blog. We're here every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Our companion show, iPad Live. Georgia, when is that?
Same bat time, same bat channel. Sunday nights, 9 Eastern.
Nice. For all of our podcasts, including iPad Live, Zen and Tech, Super Functional, Iterate, Girls Gone Gadgets, Crackberry.com, Android Central, and many more. Go to mobilenations.com/shows. If you haven't already, please go over to iTunes. Please subscribe to the show. Please leave a rating. It encourages iTunes to feature us. And that means we can get more awesome people like you to talk to. And I'd like to thank the Tippy iPhone accessory store for sponsoring this podcast and to everyone who showed up in the live chat. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
everyone. Thanks for showing up.
Woohoo!
Sticking around.
We have the best audience in the business. I'm just saying. You guys, 10 times the community that the Android Central people have. Just saying.
That's even Lloyd.
Yes, especially Lloyd. All right, guys, we're going to rush out of here because it's late and Georgia and Seth are racing to see who falls asleep first.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I'm tired.
So have a good night, and Georgia will be back on Thursday. Seth will be back on Sunday.
Indeed.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.